Ma'am, you want to know who was targeted by a weaponized FBI? Me.
Multiple whistleblowers have come forward, and we know that you likely committed perjury. At the same hearing, you claimed you were not familiar with Stu Peters, an anti-Semitic Holocaust denier. 8 times, and you claimed not to recall. Mr. Patel, my second question is, should we worry more about your memory or your veracity?
You're accusing me of committing perjury? The answer is you're failing, not me.
I reclaim my time.
Go ahead.
Contradictory labels define the nomination. To his supporters, he is the only man with the grit to fix a broken system. To his critics, he is the primary threat to it. At the center of this firestorm is Kash Patel, the newly nominated director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Historically, the FBI director is a role carefully insulated from partisan politics. The position usually goes to veteran legal experts with decades of experience inside the Department of Justice. This established path includes figures like Robert Mueller, who held top Justice Department roles long before running the Bureau, James Comey, a former U.S. Attorney and Deputy Attorney General, and Christopher Wray, who previously led the DOJ's Criminal Division. Patel's resume breaks that mold. He served as a public defender in Florida, climbed to Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense, and built a public brand as an enemy of the federal bureaucracy. Public confidence in the FBI is fractured. The question now is whether Patel is the necessary tool to repair that trust, or a political weapon designed for retribution. During his confirmation process on Capitol Hill, the debate over Patel's qualifications took center stage. He arrived backed by a powerful coalition. Groups like the National Sheriff's Association and a bloc of Republican attorneys general threw their full weight behind his nomination. Their argument was straightforward. The FBI suffers from internal bias, and Patel was the outsider needed to dismantle that system and force transparency. His stated goals focused on local partnerships. He promised to move the Bureau's resources towards supporting local police, cracking down on violent crime, and addressing the drug addiction crisis. By the time he secured the job, Patel had a clear, publicly supported mandate from his conservative allies to execute structural reform from the outside in. But the theoretical promises made in hearing rooms quickly collided with the practical reality inside the J. Edgar Hoover building. Within days, lawmakers began receiving reports of sudden, sweeping staff shakeups at the very top of the agency. Senator Dick Durbin raised the alarm, alleging that Patel was personally directing a purge of top career officials within the Bureau. These removals targeted the specific divisions responsible for stopping international terror plots and defending the country against foreign cyber attacks. Gutting experienced leadership in these highly specialized sectors creates an immediate operational vacuum, impacting the agency's readiness to handle live threats. This creates a fundamental friction in Patel's mission. It is difficult to prove you are making the country safer while simultaneously hollowing out the command structures responsible for its defense. Alongside the internal staffing purges, Patel's early tenure has been marked by administrative volatility, starting with an incident involving a locked computer. According to reports, Patel couldn't log into his government workstation one morning. He allegedly made frantic phone calls claiming he had been fired, simply because he was locked out of his system. The story leaked to The Atlantic. In response, Patel filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit against the publication for reporting on his reaction. Shortly after filing, reporters confronted Patel directly about the incident. He snapped at the press, explicitly claiming he was never locked out of his systems. However, his own multi-million-dollar lawsuit admits that he did, in fact, have a technical problem logging in. This public contradiction validated the ethical warnings raised during his hearings. Critics had already pointed to his undivested financial ties and an overall odor of mendacity hanging over his previous testimony. Administrative chaos, personal legal battles, and documented contradictions now compete for attention alongside Patel's promises of authoritative reform. Two different realities are currently playing out. Patel's base continues to celebrate the removal of the old guard. Meanwhile, watchdogs point to his published enemies list as proof that the agency is being weaponized. There is a sharp clash here. It's difficult to maintain a mission of integrity and transparency, while the administration is defined by internal purges and media warfare. Internal retribution and administrative volatility inside the FBI create a specific danger. A distracted bureau leaves the country vulnerable to the very criminal and terror threats it's built to stop. The FBI is currently an experimental agency. Handing the keys of a no-fail security apparatus to a self-described disruptor has immediate consequences for the rule of law across the country.